And then we are going to, once I find my sweet little clock here, because I'm always going over, right? We're going to grab some props for tonight's practice. So the first prop is like our yoga blanket, a throw blanket, like 2 beach towels wrapped up, something that's like firm and cushiony. The second one that I'm using is like a sturdy bed pillow. You could use a couch cushion. You could use a yoga bolster, right? You could use a really big blanket rolled up, like a comforter. And then the last prop that isn't required, but will make this super juicy is going to be a yoga strap. And like, this is not required because also this is a yoga strap, right? Also, your beach towel is a yoga strap. So give yourself permission to get creative so that you can get cozy. And then we'll meet on the mat. And here is the hard part. This might be challenging. We're going to set our mat up directly next to the wall. I'm going to be over here. And we're going to place it up against the wall. And if you don't have a wall, you might place it up against your couch or your bed, because either of those things, we just want something to like be able to put our feet on. If you're practicing in bed, you could lie in bed and put your feet up on your headboard if that's okay by you. I always say like I'm a little bit dirty, so whatever. And then we will start our practice, and we're going to start seated. We're going to do some slow yoga to warm up the body, to drop the mind in to the physical sensations. And we're going to start like we always do, seated. And you might choose the blanket like we would have in a standard slow yoga class, or you might choose the cushy, extra smooshy, supportive bolster. I'm going to choose the bolster because I don't normally do it. And the cool part about somatics and yoga is that when we meet ourselves in the same spot, just a little differently, it's a whole new practice. And such a small change can bring such transformation and new levels of awareness into our mind and our body. So from the seated posture, maybe legs are crossed, maybe they're extended to bring ease to the knees. We're going to inhale, press to the top of the head. Just find a little length. As we continue to press up, breathe into the body, right? Find the breath while we keep this gentle effort of length to the top of the head. And then draw your mind's awareness down into your seat. Feel those sits bones pressing down into the supports beneath them. And you might imagine this energy from your solar plexus or just below your heart center, pressing down into the earth. And with each inhale, energy rises from the solar plexus just below the heart up through the top of the head, finding this length, this equal and opposite energetic foundation, right? This strong connection. And as you hang out here, on your next inhale, send it deep into the belly, feel it expand. As you exhale, let the shoulders melt from the ears, keep the height, right? Soften through the jaw. We're going to soften effort through the belly, right? We can hold ourselves up and soften in the low belly at the same time. With each inhale, playing with that sensation, right? Lowering those shoulders once more. We're doing a lot of different little things at once, and we're going to screw it up. We're going to tighten up in the shoulders. We're going to shallow our breath as we concentrate on rising. It's going to happen. And the lovely part is we're just going to be okay with it. And each time we notice, we're just going to bring compassion and softness into that place. Choosing gentleness tonight. Choosing the soft and subtle slowness of our practice to bring our mind deep into the body, to build this connection with self, learning the language of our body, calming the wildness of our mind, and through this interoception, through this mind-body connection, we might find a place of neutrality with self, maybe even admiration in our ability to be here, to choose not ease, but softness. To come again and again to this place to let go, to practice stillness, to invite the mind into the body. Finding embodiment. Beautiful. Let's find a little movement here. We'll do a little seated cat-cow. So on an exhale, dropping the forehead down towards your lap. You might press down through the legs, curling the tailbone up towards the sky. Relaxing those shoulders down. We're sort of allowing the body to hunch, but really just relaxing through the neck. The head hangs heavy. Once more, as you soften the jaw, curl that tailbone up towards the forehead or towards the ceiling. Imagine your body in this C shape. And then on an inhale, we're going to lift through the top of the head. The heart rises, the top of the head lifts. Gaze up towards the ceiling. We press the chin skyward. As you press up through the chin, you might feel all of this length now through the front of the throat, lifting gently through the heart. Press down once more through those sits bones. Feel this root and rise, this deep grounding and lengthening through the body. On an inhale, breathe deep into the belly. Feel those muscles stretch and expand. Exhale, soften the effort. Let the forehead rest heavy. Curl the spine. Find your C shape. Moving with the breath now. Big, slow inhales. Soft, gentle exhales at a pace that feels good, right? We bring ease and comfort and awareness deep into the body to regulate the nervous system. And we remain in regulation when we continue to choose that sweetness of meeting self where we're at. Beautiful. On an inhale, rise up to neutral. We're going to plant our left hand down on the earth, and we're going to open up the side body. So on an inhale, sweeping that right arm up overhead, pressing through those fingertips on the diagonal, up and out, as you press down through that right sit bone. Breathe length into the right side of the body. With each inhale, you might feel the right side of the rib cage expand as you press out through those fingertips. As you exhale, root down through that right sit bone, bending into this left elbow as deeply as you would like. On an inhale, we're going to lift the arm up, press through the top of the head as we rise. Exhale, switch sides. Nice and slow, finding that length, right? Grounding down through that sit bone, pressing up through those fingertips and the top of the head, relaxing the jaw, bending that elbow towards the body. You might sink in deep here, breathing into the left side of that rib cage. Beautiful. Maybe you can feel it, maybe you imagine it. Both are powerful. We hold space for them equally. On an inhale, rise up by pressing through those fingertips, lifting through the top of the head. Exhale, keep the length, relax the shoulders. Breathe softness into the belly. Breathe softness into the jaw. Yeah. All right. We're going to warm up the hips just a little bit. And if you are here for fat yoga, your hips are nice and warm. But for this, we're simply going to spread our legs out wide, finding a wide-legged pose. And forgive the bottoms of my feet. Now, we're going to choose a wide-legged sensation that brings, or a wide-legged posture that brings sensation to the legs, right? We're going to press through the heels, flex the toes towards the heart, and choose a stretch that feels good, right? We're not here to make it ache. We're not here for that. That's not our practice today. We're here to make it soft and to notice the subtleties of that sensation. So wherever you feel this stretch, sometimes it's the inner thigh, back of the hamstring, sometimes it's outside of the hips, low belly. Wherever you feel this stretch, we're going to soften into it. So on an inhale, we rise the top of the head. Exhale, we surrender the heart and the belly forward, right? We're making tons of room. The neck remains in alignment with the spine. We're pressing through the heels, flexing the toes towards the heart, and we're taking it slow, right? Because as we dip into this, sensation rises and the body's going to want to clench. It's going to want to support you. You might put your hands down on the ground or blocks or that blanket, right? Find ease, bring softness. With each inhale, stretching long to the top of the head, noticing how it changes sensation through the body, and then softening that heart center on down. Maybe you find a spot that feels good, right? Where intensity is enough to really get curious and explore, but not so intense we start clenching, not so intense that the sensation becomes sharp or painful. Breathing softness into the belly here. And then on an exhale, drop the gaze down low, rest the forehead, lengthen through the back of the neck as the top of the head grows heavy towards the earth. Still gently pressing through the heels of the feet, flexing the toes towards the heart, softening through the jaw, the cheeks of your face. Ooh, finding this beautiful C shape in the spine. Where do you feel the most sensation? Is it in the groin, the backs of the legs, your glutes, your booty cheeks? What does it feel like? Is it dull and achy? Is it sharp and scratchy? Is it zappy? Is it stretchy? And then on an inhale, pressing down to the fingertips or palms of the hands, we're going to curl up vertebra by vertebra. Head is the last to rise. When you get to the top, soften those shoulders, relax through the belly, let the body find ease here. We're going to find our first restorative posture. Our first restorative posture is a restorative cobra. And this is a deeply regulating posture. And our goal here in restorative yoga is we'll practice 4 different postures tonight, and we'll hold them for about 8 to 10 minutes apiece, transitioning slowly from one to the next. And oftentimes when we move into these postures, folks ask me, where in my body am I supposed to feel this? And I want to invite you to explore the possibility, maybe just for tonight, that nowhere is the answer. What if you bring so much rest and ease to your posture tonight, so much support? Maybe you grab an extra pillow or a blanket, like you decide. Maybe you meet yourself in a place where you don't feel any sensation at all, and you can rest into these postures and really enjoy the subtleness of sensation. So there is no wrong way to practice, deep or subtle. I'm just inviting you to a different perspective. But for Cobra, we're going to get up off that bolster or that cushion or that couch cushion, and we're going to plant it up in front of us just like this. From here, we grab this blanket or the bath towels, and we're going to fold or roll them up into sort of a generous floppy Swiss roll, right? This is a pillow. We're going to place it up where we're going to support our chin, maybe our neck. And then from here, we find Cobra by lowering ourselves down onto our bellies. We're going to plant our hands down on the earth, bend the elbows in towards the side body as you drop the torso down low, right? Resting the heart center, resting the top of the belly on the pillow, and then finding this Swiss roll or your blanket, and maybe you grab another one. We're going to find all the ease we can. We're going to plant our chin on it, gazing forward, right? And then we're going to find maybe a Sphinx posture here with the elbows beneath the shoulders. Or you might extend your arms in front of you a little further, letting the shoulders rest down towards the mat. So decide what feels good, explore what you can relax into with ease. And then if the toes are curled like mine, we uncurl them and we're gonna rest the tops of our feet. And if you're resting the tops of your feet and you're feeling a strain here, right? We're gonna widen our legs out and then try again. And if that doesn't feel good, you might get little bath towels and place them up underneath your feet to rest your ankles atop. And so we're gonna melt our heart centers down on the supports beneath us. We're gonna rest our chin in a way that feels supportive. Can you relax your jaw? You might let your teeth softly clench just by relaxing through the cheeks of your face, the nose, the forehead. Send your next breath maybe into the heart center, and as you inhale, feel the heart press down into the supports beneath you. As you exhale, feel the heart soften, the shoulders soften, the arms grow heavy here. We bring that softness from the shoulders down into the shoulder blades, down through the spine, into the low back and pelvis. On your next inhale, you might send it down into the belly, feeling the belly stretch wide, feeling the body rise from the mat. And then as you exhale, soften through the low belly, through the hips and low back. Let the thighs grow heavy. Release any effort through the knees, the calves, the ankles. Can you soften the heels of your feet? What would that feel like? Can you imagine? Can you imagine softening the balls of your feet, the tips of your toes? Allow your mind's eye to gently float up the legs, the spine, the shoulders, into the neck. We soften once more through the throat, the tongue, and the jaw. With each inhale, you might gently bring softness to the body as it expands. With each exhale, invite a melting and a release. You might close your eyes if you haven't already, allowing your mind to sit with the sensation of your breath. With each inhale, the heart center presses down into the earth. With each exhale, the body lets go of all of the tension that snuck up, and trust me, it does. Because even when we think we're relaxing, those patterns of tension creep back up. And instead of judging the body, instead of shaking our finger at us for falling back into this unconscious habit, these secret little tensions we hardly notice because now they're second nature. We hold space for our body, inviting it gently to relax again and again and again, with sweet compassion, knowing it doesn't know how yet. And that's okay. That's why we practice. That's why we allow the mind to notice the body rise with each inhale and it grow heavy with each exhale of your warm breath, softening once more, letting the tongue float in the mouth. As we rest here for a few more minutes, I'm going to read a card from the Nap Bishop's Rest deck. Remaining where you are, we'll take a moment together. As you breathe softness into your body, drawing a card from the Nap Bishop's Rest deck, it says, rest is a beautiful interruption in a world with no pause. As you breathe softness, as you let the breath roll through the body, the mind noticing, Let it sink in. Rest is a beautiful interruption in a world with no pause button. You will not lose it all if you pause to connect with your body and mind. You've already lost it all if you're living a fear-based life centered on scarcity. Do not fear what you are missing or losing. You are abundant. Your rest is abundant. You are more than what you produce for a capitalist system. Your worth is deep, and you are safe. You are more than what you produce for a capitalist system. Your worth is so, so deep. You are safe. Once more, you might allow your mind to explore the body, seeking out that hidden habitual tension and inviting your sweet, compassionate gentleness to fill that space, allowing it to soften and release. The more times we invite that tension to softness, the easier it becomes to find that softness in times of tension. We're going to begin to awaken the physical body. And so invite your mind's eye without moving down into the tips of your fingers. And you might notice what you feel in the tips of your fingers, the weight of your fingers pressing down through the pads. Maybe it's a tingling sensation. Maybe you feel nothing at all, but can you imagine your mind's eye traveling down into the pads of your fingers? Do they feel warm or cool? As we awaken the physical body, we invite the tiniest of sensations by rubbing the pads of the fingers against the earth. Softening through the jaw as you notice what you feel in the pads of your fingers. Is it a tickling, a buzzing, a pressure? Is it scratchy or fuzzy, cool or warm, squishy or hard? Inviting movement now through the fingers, spreading the fingertips wide, pressing through those fingertips, and then softly clenching the fist, not hard. You might continue to do that, noticing the stretching sensation through the hands, the engagement in the forearms. And then invite movement into your toes, curling the toes, softening them. Bending through the ankles, you might find ankle circles or bend the knees up towards the glutes. Finding these circles with the ankles and then bending those knees. We're going to press our heels skyward, flex our toes gently towards the knees here. And then we're going to wag our knees left and right, just little bit by little bit, as we soften through the belly, the pelvis, and the low back. Just like this. As much or as little feels good. You might lengthen those legs out a little bit, noticing how that changes the sensation of this sway. You might draw the knees further up towards the glutes, noticing how it changes the sensation. From here, we lower the legs down. We're going to come into our choice, either child's pose or wide-legged child's pose, by drawing the hands back underneath the shoulders. We're going to press into our palms, right? We're going to lift our pelvis up and then drawing our big toes together and our knees out wide for wide-legged child's pose, or our big toes together on our knees together for traditional child's pose. We begin to sit the hips back towards the heels as we sink the heart center down, coming down onto forearms. And then option to continue dropping that heart center down. You might even rest the forehead down. If that doesn't feel good, you might rest the chin. But feeling that heart center relax. You could even bring your bolster up underneath here just to add some ease so that you feel welcome to soften those hips back towards the heels. All right. From here, we rise up into tabletop. We'll come up onto our shins to prepare for our next posture. So this is where it's important that we've set up next to the wall, a couch, a bed. We're going to grab our 3 props. I'm going to grab my deck of cards because I'm going to need them. And we're going to set right up next to the wall. And we're going to begin our practice with a blanket and bolster nearby, right? The strap we're not going to use quite yet, but it'll come into play. So with blanket and bolster nearby, I'm going to sit with my hips up next to the couch, the bed, the headboard, the wall. And then from here, you're going to lean on to your right or left side, spin around and kick your legs up. Right? And here's the thing, the closer your hip is to the wall, the further up, right? The closer your butt's going to be to the wall, or the further your legs are going to move up the wall. So that when you lean onto your side and you roll onto your back, you can be here, having a nice bend in the knees. This is kind of where we want to be. So you might shimmy towards the wall to find some ease. You might shimmy away from the wall to find some ease. But we're going to hang out right about here. The pads of our feet, if you're up on the couch, your calves might be resting up on the cushion or the mattress. That can be luscious. But we're just going to find some ease, grabbing the bolster, keeping that blanket nearby. We've changed our orientation, right? We were on our bellies, now we're on our backs. Can we soften the length of our spine into the earth? So relax through the hips and low back. Softening through the shoulder blades and the shoulders, up the backs of the arms. Maybe they rest out wide. Maybe palms are on your belly. Maybe you stretch the arms up over your head, opening through that heart center. There are no rules, but the rules you make. From here, we're going to find a simple twist for a restorative posture. So we're going to take our feet and we're going to walk them on over towards the left. And grabbing that bolster, you're going to place it up, not just underneath the knee, but down towards the whole length of your calf. So the length of the bolster is going to go from knee to ankle. And you're going to walk your legs on over towards the side till the length of your calf rests on that pillow. And now it might feel good to hang out just like this. You might bring another pillow up underneath here, right? To bring some relief to the low back. And then here's where this luscious blanket comes into play. You can place it up underneath the knees. Ooh, yeah. Bring some softness to the hip and integrity to the low spine so that we can really soften here without injury. And then from here, we're going to invite our gaze and our heart up towards the sky. You might tee the arms out wide just to invite both shoulder blades to rest down into the earth. But like I said, maybe you do a little snow angel here just to see what feels best for the arms and the shoulders. The further your arms are up overhead, the more open the heart center becomes, and maybe that feels nice. Typically, the further down the arms are, the closer they are to the belly, the more we conserve that energy, cycling it through the body. So part of our practice of stillness is just discovering what our own needs are, being willing to get it wrong, right? Being willing to screw it up because we're gonna. Holding space to show up here in this place again and again, meeting ourselves imperfectly where we're at, watching it transform us. So we soften here, relax the glutes, the thighs. If it feels nice, you might extend that top leg just a little bit, straightening it out. So this is entirely up to you. This can feel like a pulling or an opening through the hip. Some folks enjoy that. You might keep that bend in the knee after all. There is no prize here. There is only exploration of rest and stillness and self. Releasing any effort in the low back. The knees and the thighs grow heavy. Taking a deep breath into the belly on your next inhale. Feel that stretch, that expansion. As you exhale, soften through the belly, the shoulder blades, the heart, the throat. Feel the weight of the back of your head resting into the earth as you soften through the backs of the arms, the wrists, and the palms of your hands. As we hang out here, breathing into this still space, allowing the mind to remain calm by gently inviting it into the subtlest of sensations in the body. Noticing how the breath changes, where we feel this stretch as it flows through the body again and again and again. Pulling another card from the Nat Bishop's deck. They write, rest is a lifelong practice. Take a deep breath into the belly and the heart, and I'll read this again. Soak it in. Rest is a lifelong practice. Lifelong. What if you rejoiced at the beauty of this being a lifelong, meticulous love practice? What if you listened to what your body is trying to tell you? What if you took your time more often? What if the way to healing is waiting for you in a nap? What if you accepted that you don't have to fully unravel from the grind culture immediately to begin practicing rest? What if you accepted that you don't have to fully unravel from the grind culture immediately to practice rest? You might invite the mind into the body to explore where that secret, sneaky tension may have snuck up. Let the breath bring softness to each area. You might even, with each inhale, invite gentle compassion just to flood that space. You might say, body, it is all right that you tense up. Thank you for working so hard to protect me in precarious times that we did not choose. It's okay that tension sneaks up. When you're ready once more, we'll awaken the body, not with movement, but with inviting the mind deep down into the pads of the toes. Can you feel with your mind's eye the pads of your toes? There's no right answer. Both answers have equal power and weight in this practice. You might imagine feeling the pads of your toes. And then gently wiggling the toes, noticing the sensation that arises in the toes, in the pads of the feet, the balls of the feet, the tops of the feet, just through a little wiggle of the toes. As you stretch the toes wide and long and then curl them gently in, can you feel the sensation through the calves of your feet or the calves of your legs? Hey, you know. You might find some ankle circles here. Beautiful. You might extend this top leg long, pressing through the toe, reaching it out. Ooh. You might skip this entirely, right? This is intuitive. So if it's not delightful to you, then it is not what you need tonight. And there is no moral judgment. This is literally not one size fits all. So you might roll onto your back and then take a moment here, right? Bring some relief to the low back, planting the pads of the feet, swaying the knees, feeling that low back massage, relax through the belly. Let the shoulders melt once more. The backs of the arms grow heavy. We're going to find this on the opposite side of the body, resting in to this twist yet again. So grabbing this bolster, this pillow, this couch cushion, placing it on your right side. I'm going to scooch just a little bit. And then from here, walking the feet on over towards the right, supporting that leg from knee to ankle. Using the blanket, not using the blanket. Maybe you sweep your arms in those wings, finding what spot is delicious tonight. And then resting on into it. Be where you want to be. As you relax and soften into this posture, if you slip and slide, that's okay. If it feels good, that's freaking awesome. If it doesn't feel good, know that there is nothing wrong with adjusting and supporting yourself. That's really genuinely the truest practice of yoga that we could do. So with each exhale, you might breathe in deep into the low belly, fill even up to the lungs, the tippy top of the heart, and then exhale, soften through the low back, the hips, the heart, the shoulders. Melting with each exhale, allowing the body to grow heavy here. Softening even through the jaw, the tongue. Inviting the mind into the softest and subtlest shifting of sensation as the breath rolls in and out. The coolness of the air as it travels through the lungs into the body. The warmth of the air as it leaves you on the exhale. Each exhale inviting you to soften even deeper into the supports beneath you, the mind gently and compassionately exploring out those secret tensions and inviting the sweet softness of release. As we continue to breathe and be here, I'll read once more from the Nap Ministries Rest Deck written by the Nap Bishop. I am not a machine. I am a divine human being. I am not a machine. I am a divine human being. You might begin to allow yourself to grieve the ways in which grind culture has tricked you into thinking you are a machine. Grieving is a gift and a sacred act. Grind culture has pushed you to a pace of living that is unsustainable. The sooner you push back against this,
the sooner your rest journey begins. Rest for the journey. Breathing is a gift and a sacred act. Rest for the journey. In this softness and stillness that we're cultivating by screwing it up again and again, by getting restless and frustrated, by enjoying these moments of embodiment, by holding space for the beauty of the light and the dark of this journey. We allow ourselves to be here, exactly where we are. And without moving, you might invite your mind into the breath in the body. And on your next inhale, send the breath deep, fill the belly, fill the chest as big and full as possible, and then let it go. Let the body soften. Once more, as you inhale, let the mind notice how deeply sensation changes with the depth of this breath. That stretching, that pulling, and that deep release of the exhale. This is the movement that reawakens your form. You might invite it into the fingers and the toes. You might even lift gently the head from the mat, turning it in the opposite direction of your knees for a moment, resting it back down. When you're ready, you might walk the feet back up towards the ceiling, removing that blanket. Planting the pads of the feet, finding this sway. You might rock up even onto the blade edges of the feet. You might experiment with pressing the pads of the feet in, curling the tailbone up. You might even press the tailbone down into the earth, arching that low back. We're just exploring sensation and an awakening of the body. What does it feel like to arch the back, press the tailbone down, breathe deep into the belly? What does it feel like to press the pads of the feet into the wall, curling that tailbone in towards the belly? Back and forth, this pelvic cat-cow, as deeply as you delight, right? That's what we're here for. We're not doing this practice for anybody else. We're doing it for us. And the beauty is that our whole community benefits from our personal practice because it changes how we show up for ourselves and others in the world, right? The practice, this is practice on the mat. Yoga is life. It's how we move through the world. We practice it here. Beautiful, finding stillness here. We'll move through our final posture. Now, final posture is legs up the wall. And here's where things get tricky. From this space, you're going to grab your strap or your rope tie or your scarf, and you're going to thread it behind your thighs, planting the pads of the feet back on the wall. And then you might tie that rope. You might thread your yoga strap. Mine dropped down towards the low back, but I'll remedy that in a moment. And what we're looking for is to really support the thighs behind the knees by tightening this up. And here's the deal. It might feel good to bring the knees together here and you decide, right? Really tightening that up. You might take this blanket, roll it up between the knees for some softness and some ease to the vertebra of the low back. So as much or as little feels good. Now you can hang out just like this with the knees bent, pads of the feet planted. There's nothing wrong with that. It brings a lot of ease to the low back because it like naturally curls the tailbone up. You might move into a little deeper inversion if it feels good by shimmying your hips up towards the wall and walking your feet up higher, right? We're scooting, we're letting it be messy. It's weird. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But as high as we want, know this, the higher the heels, the more pressure we're putting on the knees. And if you are hyper mobile, you might, instead of just having a blanket between your legs, you might put a pillow behind your knees, or you might choose to take a soft bend and almost plant the pads of the feet like I'm doing here, right? If it feels nice, extend the legs skyward, right? You might even flex the toes towards the heart, pressing gently through the heels. If the pads of your feet are planted, you might play with the sensation of gently pressing through the pads of the feet, right? We're just hanging out here, feeling into this posture. We soften once more into whatever feels nice. Our goal here being the most effortless of postures. You might start with a deep inhale into the belly, a deep exhale, letting the belly and the low back soften. Relaxing up through the heart center, the shoulder blades grow heavy. Resting the backs of your arms all the way down through the lengths of your fingertips. Letting the front of the throat soften, the back of the head grow heavy. The jaw relax as the eyebrows unfurrow. From here, you might invite your awareness all the way up into the toes of the feet. Can you relax and soften the toes of the feet, the ankles, the calves, your knees, your inner thighs, your outer hips. Again, if the body shifts, if it feels good, let it. If you want to readjust, give yourself permission to. Our goal to soften into effortless stillness. And we do it by holding space for us to explore what that feels like, what that feels best like in our own personal shape. The beauty of this posture, as you soften down into the supports beneath you with each exhale, is that it's an inversion. And with legs above the heart, we invite gravity to assist the efforts of our pumping heart in a way that it may not experience for days and days at a time. How often do you spend time with your legs above your heart? The heart works hard to pull blood up from the feet, from the legs. And so here in this sweet space, we love on the heart. You might even in your mind's eye bring your awareness into your heart center and just say thank you. Your heart's not perfect, but it works so hard for your good. It never stops working for your good. What a beautiful gift for a heart to give. And so we thank it upside down just for a little bit, making its job a little easier tonight. Not only do we bring ease to the heart, but we bring ease to our lymphatic system, allowing the fluid to drain from the tissues, to be more easily absorbed into the bloodstream and pulled back up into the organs to be refined or released from the body. You might notice what you feel in your belly. On your next inhale, can you send your breath deep into the base of the belly? As you exhale, can you bring softness, gentleness, and ease? Let it permeate up into the heart, up through the legs, into the toes, out the top of your head, this ease, this release, this relaxation. As you hang out here in stillness, I'd like to pull another card from the rest deck. This one says, I will do less. Watch me thrive. You might take a deep breath into the body, and as you release it, take this in. I will do less. Watch me thrive. How can you access pleasure, joy, and liberation if you are too tired to experience them? Where can you create more space in your life? What can you say no to? Consider what rest has to offer you. It's time to slow down. It's time to thrive. Where can you create more space in your life? It's time to slow down. It's time to thrive. It's so difficult to release ourselves from the pressure of productivity, from the shame of not producing. But when we invite awareness to the fact that that is pressure based on a capitalist system that we have only known our whole lives to be how you operate in the world. But the system that we've always known is also a system that brings harm, that equates our worthiness to our productivity, that invites a feeling of shame and guilt when we're exhausted, when we can't show up for others, let alone ourselves. When the truth is, you are made for rest, and it's with rest. It's in the space from rest that we find joy and pleasure, that we allow ourselves to be where we are without feeling the pressure to be somewhere else, to do somewhere else, to be more productive than we are in this moment. And so we do the hard work of unraveling our worthiness from productivity, from de-shaming ourselves, from choosing us, allowing ourselves to say no to performing, to say yes to rest, pleasure, and joy. From wherever you are, we invite awareness back into the body. You might first do it by taking an even greater bend in the knees, with a lot of movement to wake ourselves up, but we're trying something new. Fully planting the pads of your feet, you might invite the knees even more deeply towards the chest. So just sliding the pads of your feet down. You might even press the pads of your feet in, curling the tailbone towards the belly, lengthening through the low back and releasing, repeating that if it feels nice a time or two. And then it's from this space that you might release this strap or untie it. You might say, gosh, that, move on, forget about it, just enjoy where you are. Because we are not about to just regulate ourselves by feeling pressured to figure something out. Our body has been at rest, our mind has found slowness. And it's a beautiful place to be. And we don't need to rush ourselves to remove ourselves from that place. And so finding a gentle sway, inviting a sweet rise of sensation, some change in our movement that we can explore with the mind's eye as the knees sway left and right. Can you feel that low back massage roll from hip to hip? And then when you're ready, maybe you've removed that strap, maybe not. We're going to roll onto one side of our body or the other, all the way over. Oops. Clearing a spot, pressing stuff out of the way, supporting our head with our upper arm, taking it easy here. You might allow your body to rest down through your side, relaxing and melting once more, letting it be messy. Letting the cheeks sag, the lips on the face grow heavy, the tongue grow heavy. What a weird way to relax. What an interesting sensation to explore with your mind. The heaviness of your face, right? And then when you're ready, you might press yourself up into an easy seat, or you might just pass out and go to bed. I mean, it's up to you. We've been at this for a while, right? If you decide to press yourself up into a seat, we find a comfortable one just for a short amount of time. You might bring the palms towards the heart center. You might even lower your head in a gentle bow if you'd like. It's here. We let it all melt in. The things we want to take with us from this practice into everyday life. Any thoughts, any revelations, any movement that felt extra delicious. With each inhale, you might imagine all of those things just solidifying into the cells of your being, making a home inside you, so that next time you are here, you find them more easily, so that as you're out in the world enacting your practice, you can find them more easily. Thank you for this powerful practice tonight, for giving yourself the gift of stillness and softness and exploration. The light in the dark in me sees the light in the dark in you. And we both deserve rest. Thank you for spending this time with me. I very much needed it. So I appreciate you all hanging out. Ooh. I'm fully ready for the end of Friday. Oh, let me take it off.